Hi guys, it's Darlene. I'm going to be doing the first time tag today. Okay, so first question is, do you still talk to your first love? No, not at all. If I did ever see him, it would be just like nice. It would just be like, hey, how are you doing? First love. What was your first job? My official first job, the first thing that I actually was officially paid for, was I was an extra on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. So that was, it's a pretty cool job to sort of say, but yeah, it was my first official job, and it was when I was at secondary school, and me and my best friend Jim, we used to go to like stage school thing, and then they like did auditions. Yeah, we did that, and we did it for a good few, like for like a year, over the course of a year, and we loved it because we didn't have to go to school those days. We were like, bye guys, we're going off to set, and it was really cool, like, because we got loads of free food, which was obviously great, bonus, and you had to go to school still. There were like these portal cabins, but they were really cool because like there were like it was on the obviously on the set, and outside your window you'd be like doing maths and stuff, and then outside your window would be like a big old dragon head just like there and stuff like that. So, and then they'd like call you onto set, and then I got to meet Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, and it was so nice. I wasn't really a huge Harry Potter fan, but it was still an amazing experience. What was your first car? I can't drive. I still can't, to this day. I can't drive. So, who was the first person that texted you today? Let's have a look. If you count work, reminding me that I have to work on Wednesday, which is yeah, it was work. Boring. Who's the first person you thought of this morning? Probably my mum. I usually think about my mum in the mornings. She lives in America now, so I've not seen her for a while. So I thought of her. Who was your first grade teacher? My first grade teacher, or my first year at school, the one that sort of sticks in my memory was a lady called Anne, because, well, it wasn't really my first grade, it was my nursery teacher, or my reception, as we call it. Yeah, so I went to nursery, then I went to reception. And reception's like the first sort of year here. And it was a lady called Anne. She was really like nice and huggy and lovely, and I remember the first day of my school, like, it was a bit traumatic for me because I wasn't used to being away from my mum, and I screamed and I kicked and I screamed and I was insane, and like, yeah, she was one of the people that tried to calm me down. It's funny, sorry, my brother had to come down from the main school, and like, it was all sorts of havoc. I like ended up kicking my shoe off, and they couldn't find it, and then my auntie had to come in because my brother couldn't stop me from being crazy, and so they were looking for the shoe for hours, and then eventually they found it right at the back of like this big old cupboard, and yeah, it was insane. My poor brother, like, my auntie came in, and my brother was just standing there with his like hands on his ears because I was just so insane as a child, you know. Sorry brother, sorry Edward. Where did you go on your first airplane ride? Well, I was actually born in America, and so the first airplane ride was to come here. Who was your first best friend, and do you still talk to him or her? I think, I'm really bad, my memory's a bit rubbish, but it was a girl called Sam and Samantha. Actually, Sam I've still got on Facebook, but she was like a really good friend, and like she was my most memorable friend from primary school. Where was your first sleepover? Now this is a funny one because my mum was and it still is kind of really protective over me and my brother, so I wasn't allowed to go to sleepovers growing up, so I'm pretty sure it'll be like a really late time, like probably, well, technically I went camping with Duke of Edinburgh when I was like a teenager, but up until then I never really slept away from home. So we did like a 1-day expedition, a 3-day expedition, and then they were like, you can do a 2-week expedition. They like picked a few people from the, you know, from your behaviour and the first and second bits of it, and then I went away. It was the first time I went away from home, and it was basically like in the middle of nowhere. Like, I know it was 2 weeks and I'd never ever been away from home, and I was absolutely terrified. I nearly said no, but I was like, no, do you know what, Donnie, push yourself and go, and just it'll be scary, but it might be amazing. And I was sharing with my really good friend Amanda. Yeah, so, but that was amazing. It was the best 2 weeks of my life, probably, or one of the best 2 weeks. Did loads of expeditions. We went out into the middle of nowhere, and we trekked and hiked and kayaked, and oh, it was the best time ever. And yeah, I was really happy talking about that. Who was the first person you talked to today? That's a good question. I think it was my granny, because I live with my granny. But yeah, I was quite quiet this morning, and I was just doing bits and tidying and cleaning, being, you know, a bit. I can be a little bit like that sometimes. I really like my own company. I like to be alone. Whose wedding were you in for the first time? That was definitely my uncle's. and I was a bridesmaid, and it's the first ever wedding I think I've ever been to, and I was a bridesmaid, and I have, I was wearing this cute little yellow dress, and I remember it to this day. I had a little petticoat thing underneath it, and a little hat, and it was amazing. What was the first thing you did this morning? Oh, I checked my phone, which is really bad. I'm trying to get out of the habit, but it's really, really difficult. I just check it. I check Instagram, I check Tumblr. I check my phone, text messages, and emails. I just do it. I've got a lot of friends and family that are not in this country, so I always check to see if they've messaged me overnight, and Facebook as well, and I just check. So it's really bad. I should really wait at least an hour. Apparently you should wait at least an hour before you check your phone, but that's what I do every morning, and I'll try not to, but yeah. The first concert that I ever went to was, it was the BBC CBBC Prom in the Park, and it was my little cousin, and my uncle and my auntie took me, and it was the best thing ever, because it was when I was going through my I Love S Club Juniors phase, because I was a huge fan of S Club Junior, and we took my little cousin Miles when he was like little, and it was the best day ever. Like, I got right to the front, and I videoed S Club Juniors. It was all shaky, and I've still got it on my mum's old camcorder. She was like, take the camcorder, and I taped it. Or this is before camera phones and stuff. And I remember little Miles it was a bit too much for him, so his parents had to take him out. I think his mum took him out of the crowd, and he just calmed down. But I was loved it. I was singing along, screaming along. It was the best thing ever. I was just so happy. I don't remember. There were loads of other acts, I'm pretty sure, but all I remember is S Club Juniors, to be fair. First broken bone. I've never broken a bone in my life. First piercing. In my family we've got a tradition that my auntie and my grandma take us, the girl children, babies, to get our ears pierced, and that was the first and only ever piercing I've ever gotten. Or piercings. There's two. First foreign country would definitely be the UK, because I was born in America, and I came here. And so this was foreign to me then. First movie I remember seeing in the theatres, I don't remember if it was The Little Mermaid. I'm pretty sure it was, well, I don't know, that might have been at home, because I was in America, because we were obsessed with The Little Mermaid when I was little, when I was a little baby. So it could have been Little Mermaid, but that's the first film that I remember seeing at all. And that was when I was pretty young, when I was in between 1 and 3. When was your first attention? Ooh. My secondary school was really funny, because me and, as I mentioned earlier, my best friend Jim, he was pretty naughty, but I was pretty naughty as well, but no one really knew. So he'd always get in trouble, because he would be yeah, oh my god, whatever, and he'd pop his mouth off, and I'd be chatting and being really naughty and stuff but I'd do it quite discreetly. And so I'd never really get in trouble. So, I mean, I definitely got caught a few times, for being late, or for talking in class, or class detentions, but I didn't get that many. I was known as quite a good student. Oh yeah, sorry Jim. Jim would always get carted off to room 3, which was the detention room, the exclusion room. And I would always be oh, I felt really bad. I love him. He's always yeah, but Darlene was doing it. I'm SARS. First lesson I ever took, probably something like violin. I started playing violin in secondary school. That was extracurricular. And then I started doing music and acting and dance, and stuff like ballet and jazz and stuff like that when I was in secondary school. And I started doing performing arts at school on the weekends. Who was the first beauty-related person you watched on YouTube? And that's a good question. I'm pretty sure it could have been Beauty Crush, Sammy. It might have been. That's the first one that I remember being ooh, wow, it's cool. And I really loved her, and I love her still. So, yeah. So that was my first time tag, guys. Sorry if it was really long, but I didn't look at the questions beforehand. I kind of just went with it. But, yes, I really hope you liked it. If you did, please like the video, and please comment down below, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos on my channel. But have a lovely day, and keep on smiling. Bye!